In the summer of 1946, the United States embarked on a significant yet controversial chapter in its nuclear testing program. This event, known as Operation Crossroads, marked the first underwater nuclear test in history, taking place in the remote and pristine waters of Bikini Atoll in the Marshall Islands. The operation was not merely a demonstration of power, it was a scientific experiment aimed at understanding the effects of nuclear explosions on naval ships, equipment, and the environment. The legacy of this test, however, extends far beyond its initial objectives, leaving behind a complex and enduring impact on the environment and global nuclear policy. In the aftermath of World War II, the world was grappling with the terrifying power of nuclear weapons. The bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki had demonstrated the unprecedented destructive capability of atomic bombs. Amidst the ensuing arms race, the United States sought to explore different applications and effects of nuclear weapons. This led to Operation Crossroads, a series of nuclear tests aimed at assessing the impact of nuclear explosions on naval vessels and equipment, and how such blasts would behave underwater. The chosen site for these tests was Bikini Atoll, a small remote island chain in the Pacific Ocean, thousands of miles away from the American mainland. Operation Crossroads consisted of two primary tests, Able and Baker. The first test, Able, took place on July 1st, 1946. It involved detonating an atomic bomb in the air 520 feet above a fleet of 95 target ships. This explosion provided valuable data, but it was the second test, Baker, that truly captivated the world's attention. On July 25, 1946, the Baker test unfolded, setting a new precedent in the annals of nuclear testing. This time, the atomic bomb, codenamed Helen of Bikini, was placed 90 feet underwater. When it detonated, the result was a colossal, terrifying spectacle. A massive column of water mixed with radioactive particles shot up into the sky, reaching a height of 1.2 miles and a width of 1,800 feet. This violent eruption of water and steam not only showcased the bomb's power, but also demonstrated the unique and dangerous effects of an underwater nuclear explosion. The Baker explosion was a devastating force. The underwater shockwave caused massive damage to the fleet of target ships. Some were capsized, others were hurled onto the shores of Bikini Atoll, and nearly all were heavily contaminated with radioactive fallout. The force of the explosion created powerful waves that radiated outwards, further damaging nearby vessels and the atoll itself. However, the physical destruction was only part of the story. The Baker test left behind a radioactive environment that posed significant risks to the crews who attempted to decontaminate the area. The water, now tainted with radioactive material, coated the ships in a layer of deadly fallout. Efforts to clean the ships proved futile, and many had to be scuttled due to the extreme levels of radiation. This highlighted the terrifying reality of nuclear fallout, unseen, silent, but lethally persistent. The long-term consequences of the Baker test were profound. Bikini Atoll, once a tranquil and beautiful paradise, became uninhabitable due to the high levels of radiation. The indigenous people who had been relocated prior to the tests were initially promised they could return home after the explosions. However, despite some attempts to repopulate the atoll, the radiation levels remained dangerously high, forcing a permanent evacuation. The people of Bikini Atoll became nuclear nomads, displaced from their ancestral land due to the fallout of a test conducted in the name of scientific progress. The environmental impact was equally severe. Radioactive particles settled on the ocean floor, contaminating marine life and disrupting the delicate ecosystem of the atoll. While the vastness of the ocean helped dilute the radioactive material over time, the immediate area around Bikini Atoll remained a radioactive hotspot for years. Even today, the atoll is a stark reminder of the destructive power of nuclear weapons and the long-lasting scars they leave on the environment. The underwater nuclear tests of Operation Crossroads also played a pivotal role in shaping global attitudes towards nuclear testing. The sheer scale of destruction and the lingering radioactive contamination sparked international concern. Over the following decades, these concerns led to significant diplomatic efforts to regulate and eventually ban nuclear tests. In 1963, the Partial Test Ban Treaty was signed, prohibiting nuclear tests in the atmosphere, outer space, and underwater. This treaty was a direct response to the environmental and health hazards posed by tests like those conducted in Operation Crossroads. Later, in 1996, the Comprehensive Nuclear Test Ban Treaty, CTBT, was adopted, furthering the international community's commitment to preventing the spread of nuclear weapons and the environmental devastation caused by nuclear testing. The legacy of Operation Crossroads serves as a powerful reminder of the dual-edged nature of scientific progress. While the test provided invaluable data that contributed to the understanding of nuclear weapons and their effects, They also highlighted the catastrophic consequences of such tests on the environment and human life. The lessons learned from the underwater nuclear tests of 1946 continue to resonate today. They underscore the importance of responsible scientific inquiry, the need for stringent regulations on nuclear weapons, and the ethical imperative to protect the environment and future generations from the dangers of radiation. As we reflect on the events of Operation Crossroads, we are reminded of the fragile balance between the pursuit of knowledge and the preservation of life. The waters of Bikini Atoll, once a stage for one of the most powerful demonstrations of human ingenuity, now stand as a testament to the enduring impact of nuclear testing, a sobering warning to the world of the price of power. The underwater nuclear tests of Operation Crossroads also played a pivotal role in shaping global attitudes towards nuclear testing. The sheer scale of destruction and the lingering radioactive contamination sparked international concern. Over the following decades, these concerns led to significant diplomatic efforts to regulate and eventually ban nuclear tests. In 1963, the Partial Test Ban Treaty was signed, prohibiting nuclear tests in the atmosphere, outer space, and underwater. This treaty was a direct response to the environmental and health hazards posed by tests like those conducted in Operation Crossroads. Later, in 1996, the Comprehensive Nuclear Test Ban Treaty, CTBT, was adopted, furthering the international community's commitment to preventing the spread of nuclear weapons and the environmental devastation caused by nuclear testing.